I'm about to talk about the word everyone here hates, and that is called reserves. So I probably have 3 to 4 calls a week about reserves and um, people who said, I want to leave my, so literally the first conversation is, and I'm actually doing a service to the person who holds the merchant accounts, if it's not me. They come to me and they say, Patricia, I want to leave this processor. They're trying to make me have a 5% reserve or a 10% rolling reserve. I shouldn't have a reserve. And the first question I ask is, how long have you been in business for? And, sometimes I'll get the answer, well, I'm a startup, or I've been in business for 2 months and Stripe never required it. And that's kind of like my favorite lead on. So they'll tell me, they'll go, and again, this is not anything against you guys and it's not against your business. You should not know this stuff. Just like I don't know internet marketing. I don't know certain things because that's not what my wheelhouse is. So this isn't something against you. You just have to understand that, like for me, I know I need to understand the whys of stuff. And once I do, then I'm like, oh, okay, that as long as it adds up, as long as A and B equals C, I'm okay with it. So I hope that that's really what I'm doing here. I'm putting the puzzle together for you. So, they'll say, well, Stripe didn't require me to have any reserve. And my next question is, do you still have your Stripe account? Well, no, Stripe terminated me. Really can't go on that one then. So then the next one will be, well, now I got a merchant account and I've been up for the last 3 months. And now I need to be able to scale because my business is growing. Again, a great, great thing that your business is growing. But they're not letting me scale because they don't have a reserve on me. Let's go back to what I had just talked about before, is that the processor, if they do not have a reserve on you and you go belly up, or you have an offer with your girlfriend and you and your girlfriend break up, or you and your business partner break up and you take your offer down and there's refunds and chargebacks and no reserve, right? They have to file a lawsuit against you because you signed personal guarantees. So now they have to file a personal lawsuit against you to go collect on that money. Instead, look at reserves as a positive thing. A reserve protects the processor. It protects them from a catastrophic event happening, right? If you go belly up, I look at it like a piggy bank. I look at it that if something happens, I can't run my offer anymore, I can't do something, rather than a processor filing a personal lawsuit against all of my assets, they can now go issue the refunds and chargebacks from that reserve account. That's so much better. And that's just the tsunami kind of catastrophic part of why I personally like reserves. So part two is, now you have an offer that's running and you want to be able to get an additional $200,000, $300,000 a month, right? Well, a processor doesn't have a reserve on you. So now they're looking at it going, you're basically a startup, right? Look at the statistics for startups, how many fail. And then it's even higher in e-com and it's even higher in offers. So now, like if your perfect example, your Facebook ad account goes down. Now you don't have any sales. You're still having to pay out your ad agencies. If you're outsourcing it, you still have bills to pay. And you look and go, I can't fulfill any of this stuff. I have to go out of business, right? Those are risks that processors take on you. They're gambling on you, saying, you know what, I make some profit. And again, we're going to get into the whole profitability thing. I'm making nice profit on this account, so I'm going to let it roll. I'm going to take a chance. But you're going to give them a lot more comfort level if they have a rolling reserve on you. So a lot of reasons why you hear negative connotations about reserves is because in the past and even currently, a lot of people who set up merchant accounts don't have the expertise to help merchants get their reserves back. I happen to have a really good track record for getting reserves back. So if you get your reserve back or get it lowered, right? And it doesn't come down to bullying. It doesn't come down to, I'm going to leave you or anything like that. It comes down again to logic. If you're able to show and position it and you're able to show a processor, hey, I've been with you for the last 6 months. I've had 5 chargebacks for this amount. Those chargebacks I was able to cover with no issue. And you start presenting and building the case. Again, it comes down to almost like a lawyer. You're presenting your case to them and say, can you at least give me back my first 2 months of processing? What makes you comfortable? And then the next question becomes, are you still, if you get this reserve back, let's say I get the reserve back for somebody, are you going to let me scale to $600,000 a month with the amount of reserve you have in there? If the processor says no, then you want them to be able to keep that reserve because you're going to get it back anyway. It's just a piggy bank, right? So a lot of kind of these tactics that people in our industry use who are in merchant accounts, merchant services, especially in high risk, they're like, oh, don't work with anyone who doesn't have a reserve or who wants a reserve. That is absolutely the worst advice I could tell you, because your money, think about it this way. If a processor has a reserve on you and they tell you and feel comfortable that they're going to let you go from $100,000 to $350,000 a month, you're making more money. You're acquiring more customers. You're building your email list. It's a circle. And then the bank's comfortable, you're comfortable, and your business is growing. And then you get to a point where you're able to say, hey, I'm a good person. I'm a good business owner, and I've been a good partner with you. Can we go ahead and either cap my reserve and stop it, or can I start getting some of it back and keep it rolling, right? So there is no, in your industry and in high ticket sales or high risk offers, there is no one size fits all. There's no one answer. If anyone tells you it, they're wrong, absolutely wrong. You have to craft the offer, or not. Look, now I'm talking offers. You're not crafting an offer. Each merchant has a different box that they play in, a sandbox that they play in. And that is what has to be positioned to a merchant processor to make them feel safe. It's about reducing, at the end of the day, it's about reducing the processor's exposure. That's what's going to let you be able to scale your business. So definitely, I love talking about reserves. I love talking about how I could help you get back reserves. So that's something, if you want to book a call, have a conversation about it. I think a lot of people in the past, and it did happen, and I will tell you this straight up, there were a lot of processors in the past. And again, it was the wild, wild west of mids used to fall from the sky, where processors just kept the reserves, never gave them back, which is, they can't do that. They have to contractually pay you back those reserves as long as, and they have to pay it back in a time that also covers their exposure. So if it's 6 months to 18 months, that's, again, if something catastrophic happens, if you leave their business in the middle of the night, they have to make sure that you're not going out of business. So there are kind of extreme circumstances where reserves have to be kept, but they're not kept forever. So think of reserves as a piggy bank. I will definitely help educate you more on why you should do it, especially if you want to scale, but then also how you could position yourself and your story and your bio and what you do in your successes to be able to get those reserves back. So on to the next. I hope you're loving High Risk Mastery.